If you bought any hardware in the last year that can run AI locally, you probably made the best deal of your life. If you are waiting, you're probably getting screwed. Now, I know the narrative. The price of the RAM is gonna come down. There is a new card coming out soon. A new chip has been developed. Let's wait for it. But the truth here is different. And I paid approximately $3,500 6 months ago. Now it's $1,000 more expensive. That is half of the story. Now I can run models that are much better than when I bought it. Now this machine can make better images, better video, better text, can do agentic work. So the value of this hardware is not going down. And now what I can achieve with this hardware is much better. Just a week ago came out DeepSeek Flash version 4. This is the latest version, extremely powerful, and can be run on 2 of these. You can connect them through this really high-speed connector. You can run a model that has 1 million context window that in some scenario is comparable with the frontier model. It's not as powerful as them, but it's not far either, and has a token generation that is as fast as those frontier models. Then now you can own it, run in your AI lab, build around it, have unlimited token generation, so no subscription, no you reach the limits, can work for you 24/7 with privacy. That is a lot. So 2 of the biggest problems that we have with cloud AI is, one, of course, privacy. You share all your data. You share your client's data, your IP, the recipe of success of your business to those AI corporations that are gonna use it to train their own model. And then there is another problem. Those AI labs keep tweaking, adjusting their model. So those models, even though they keep having the same name, in reality, they're not performing the same every single day. Now, when you have your own hardware, you set it up, you optimize for it, and it's gonna be stable, constant. It's not gonna change unless you change it. That level of stability sometimes can make a huge difference. Think about in these terms. This is the threshold that you need for your AI to work at the level that you are happy with. So the moment that you go over the threshold, you can do the work that you want, you can serve your customers, you can run your business happily. Anything above is fine. But if you go underneath it, now you start to have problem. What those corporations are doing are trying to adjust the threshold to make them more profitable. Sometimes it is about optimization. So they want to spend less electricity, less tokens, and therefore they lower the intelligence of those models, they lower the time of reasoning. And sometimes they want you to just move to the more expensive tool. So they're optimizing for their business, not for yours. But today I want to help you decide if you should buy or wait. So let's look at some data, because the data-driven decision is probably something that makes sense, even though have in mind that most likely you will decide from your emotion. So let's try to control those emotions and bring some data in the decision process. Why the price of RAM at the moment is really hard to predict? There is 2 factors. One, the price is really high. So we had over 300% increase in price in the last year. 2, we see that in the US, they've been building so much data centers that now they don't have electricity even for the one that they already built. So now there is a 7 years queue to have access to that kind of amount of electricity, because new power stations need to be built, new turbines, new solution, the grid needs to be expanded, and 45 will take years. So the feeling now is, if they're not gonna buy anymore, the stocks, of course, they're gonna adjust, but also the price of RAM should come down. But that is the US reality, which is extremely important because they are the ones that are spending the most at the moment on AI. But there is the rest of the world, billions of people that needs to be served. If something is becoming clear to everybody, is the importance of sovereignty with your AI. So at the nation level, they need to have their own data centers. Before we go ahead, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. This channel is also connected to a Discord server. What I'm building is a community of like-minded people that use AI to be augmented. If you're interested to collaborate with others, learn from other peers, find the link in the description for the Discord community. Also, for any video that I do, there is a Substack article that you can use to read more and go deeper. And last thing, help me grow this channel, so like and subscribe, and let's carry on. They can't everybody rely on the US ones. And we know why. They made their model not accessible for people that are outside the US. They make their model extremely expensive. For some countries, it's just too much. They learn on your data, they spy basically on you, and that is also not acceptable. And you cannot be, for such important technology, dependent on another country that give you access or not. So we saw already Europe changing on a lot of elements. Now within the governments, they're trying to use only Linux instead of Windows. They're trying to move away from WhatsApp, Microsoft Office, Zoom, and a lot of others of those software that are used for communication and work, and be dependent from a foreign country. This is the new direction for Europe. So of course, they already started invested in AI data centers. And this is a signal. Now, the demand is not going to be as fast as the one from US, but there are many nations in Europe that will want to have their own AI data center. And look at France, they already invested, they have Mistral, they invested over 830 million on the new data centers. It's small money compared to what is happening in US, but that is the start, that is show the trend. And same thing will happen with other countries. Now, there is also to consider China. China had a problem until not long ago. They couldn't have access to hardware because they couldn't buy NVIDIA latest hardware for AI. So that stopped them from accelerating on that direction. But now they have the hardware to create their own data centers. Now they can start optimizing their model to run on their hardware. And that is changing everything. So China, what they did, instead of pushing for the maximum intelligence, it pushed for something that was optimized. So it could run on a smaller hardware. It could have the same intelligence at a fraction of the price. Now we see models from China that are extremely cheap. But also we see another important trend, that the China business model works on open weight models. That means that any data center can get those models and offer it to the clients. That means they're going to be cheaper, as I said, almost as powerful, and for 90% of the work, they're going to be good enough. And they keep optimizing on those models. So the goal for them is to create an intelligence that can be affordable for the rest of the world. Because not everybody can afford to work with Anthropic. And while OpenAI at the moment, it seems like cheap, in reality they are spending $1.6 for every dollar that you give to them. At the moment, the price that we see with OpenAI, they are not real price. They will have to triple those prices if they want to stay in profit. So going back to the RAM price, while from the US perspective, they are going to slow down and buy less. And so you could think, okay, the price will go down. In reality, the rest of the world needs to catch up. So they're going to start building. The demand is going to get there. As you can see, you're not using AI less and less. You use AI more and more. So there is more and more demand. Now, let's look at wait for the next thing. So if you see the Mac Studio M5 Ultra will come out by the end of the year, because it's been delayed, the price is unknown, expect really expensive. Also, there is the RTX Spark that is coming out by the end of the year. That makes sense only if you're looking for like a thin laptop, running Windows. Because in reality, almost the same power that you're gonna get from that card, you already have in this machine. What we don't know is the price at which the hardware will come out. Now, they are not the same. This is a different CPU. That CPU is meant to run on a computer that you want to use. This one is designed for just running AI locally. So this is not your main computer. This is something that you keep there, turn on 24/7. This is your personal AI server. So two different use cases. Now, for those waiting for the RTX 5090 Super, this is not coming out because the price of RAM went so high that it doesn't make sense anymore. So those super version would have 48 GB of RAM instead of 32, which is amazing. Okay, that is really the sweet spot. Now, regarding the RTX 6090, okay, the next generation, if we are lucky, we're going to see it coming out on the 2027. But it's more likely to come out in 2028. That's a lot of waiting. Of course, there is no certainty, but this is what we know today. Now, if you look at those elements, we don't know the price. Nobody knows the future. But we can see a trend. The trend is that maybe things will come down a little bit. Maybe the stock market will actually drop quite a bit as it needs a correction. But what we all know, that AI is not going to disappear. This technology gets used more and more. What is getting clear is that we can't trust those corporations to deal with our data. For some businesses, that is a must. It's a legal requirement that their data, their customer data, doesn't leave their premises. Now, there is another element that if you work in cybersecurity or biological research, you can't even use those frontier models from US. So that is a lot of uncertainty. But what is certain here is, on the hardware that I bought 6 months ago, today I can run better model than before. I can run almost frontier level models. And buying earlier, I saved $1,000. So let's recap. Again, not financial advice. This is something that you need to decide yourself. But you shouldn't buy any hardware to solve a problem that you don't have. A decision to run AI locally is to solve specific problems. Privacy is the first one, stability is the second one, and learning and experimenting is the third one. If you're not in one of those three categories, probably running AI locally is not for you. Now, I'm not saying that these are the only three reasons. You might have 1,000 other reasons, but think clearly because it is expensive. Two of those machines are around $10,000. 5090 now is about $4,000, $5,000. Mac Studio is gonna be around 10,000, depends on the model, but 10,000, 15,000, maybe even more. And that is where we are. So local AI is beautiful, it's getting better and better, but the costs are incredible. But I want to give you one last thought. I believe the option is actually an illusion. The idea of having local AI or cloud from those corporations is an illusion. In the sense, we should never give our data to one of those corporations. At the moment, it feels like there is an option. Shall I or shall I not go with the local AI? Soon, for most of us, will be the only option that we should take, not even considering any cloud model. So as today, I work hybridly. I have different local AI solutions, but I also use cloud AI. That is where we are today. But my desire, my direction is to go 100% local. If you're interested in this kind of content, if you're interested to run AI locally, join this channel, join our community on Discord, and let's learn from each other. There is a lot to discuss about this hardware, about the models. There are a lot of different recipes, a lot of things to learn and discover. So be part of this community, and see you on the next video. Ciao.